Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I am excited to introduce our presentation titled Exploring the Spiritual Depths of Masonry. On this first slide, we see the main title, Masonry, Religion or Philosophy, Clearing Up Common Misconceptions, along with the subtitle, The Mysticism of Masonry. Over the course of this presentation, we'll delve into the true nature of Masonry, exploring its spiritual aspects, addressing misconceptions, and uncovering the mysticism that surrounds it. I look forward to sharing this journey with you, so let's get started. Welcome to our discussion on Masonry. In this section, we'll explore what Masonry really is and how it compares to religion. We'll look into the philosophical foundations that underpin Masonry, highlighting its emphasis on moral and ethical development. We'll also touch on the role of mysticism, how spiritual symbolism and esoteric knowledge influence Masonic practices. It's important to understand that Masonry is inclusive, welcoming people from diverse backgrounds, which often surprises those unfamiliar with it. We'll address some common misinterpretations, clarifying what Masonry is and is. Additionally, I'll share how education and outreach efforts help demystify the organization and foster better understanding. Personal experiences and testimonials will also illustrate the profound impact Masonry can have on individuals. Finally, we'll wrap up with some key takeaways and open the floor for questions. Let's dive in and see what Masonry is truly about. Let's delve into the first part of our overview, Introduction to Masonry. Masonry, at its core, is a tradition that emphasizes moral development, personal growth, and the pursuit of truth. It has a rich history that spans centuries, embracing symbolic teachings and brotherhood. As we explore this, keep in mind that Masonry is often misunderstood, which is why clarifying its true essence is so important. Moving on, we'll compare Masonry to religion. While they may share some moral values, Masonry is not a religion itself. Instead, it's a universal system that welcomes members of all faiths and backgrounds, focusing on ethical principles rather than dogma. Next, we'll look at the philosophical foundations of Masonry. These are rooted in themes like enlightenment, self-improvement, and the search for knowledge. Masonry encourages us to question, learn, and evolve spiritually and intellectually. The role of mysticism in Masonry is another fascinating aspect. Mysticism adds a layer of symbolic and spiritual depth, helping members connect with something greater than themselves. It's about personal insight and inner transformation through allegories and rituals. Masonry's inclusivity is a core value. It strives to be open to everyone, regardless of race, religion, or background, fostering unity and brotherhood among diverse individuals. However, there are common misinterpretations we should address. Some see Masonry as secretive or conspiratorial, but the reality is quite different. It's about shared values and ethical conduct. Education and outreach are vital for dispelling myths and promoting understanding. Many lodges actively engage with the community through charitable work and public programs. Lastly, personal experiences and testimonials help us see the real impact Masonry has on individuals, stories of growth, friendship, and purpose. As we wrap up, we'll bring everything together in the conclusion, and I look forward to your questions during the Q&A session. Let's take a closer look at what Masonry really is. Historically, Masonry has its roots in medieval stonemason guilds, where craftsmen worked together to build great structures. Over time, this practical craft evolved into a philosophical and moral system. Today, Masonry emphasizes personal growth, ethical conduct, and spiritual enlightenment, encouraging members to reflect and improve themselves. Moving on, Masonry is also a fraternal organization. It stresses the importance of moral uprightness, personal development, and serving the community. Its teachings are often conveyed through allegories and symbolic rituals that help deepen our understanding of ethical principles. These rituals are not just ceremonies, they serve as tools for moral instruction and personal transformation. Furthermore, Masonry features a hierarchical structure that promotes brotherhood. This structure supports a shared commitment to moral teachings and personal growth. Through ritual practices and community service, members build strong bonds and strive to become better individuals while contributing positively to society. So, in essence, Masonry is more than just a tradition. It's a pathway for personal and moral development rooted in history, symbolism, and brotherhood. Let's take a moment to explore the purpose of this presentation. First, we want to clarify some common misconceptions about Masonry. Many people see it solely as a religion, but that's a limited view. Our goal here is to shed light on its deeper philosophical aspects, such as the principles of brotherhood, morality, and personal development that truly define it. Next, we'll delve into understanding mysticism within Masonry. It's important to recognize that Masonry blends mysticism with moral philosophy. This combination encourages self-discovery and enlightenment, which can be misunderstood as purely religious. By appreciating the mystical elements, we gain a richer understanding of its teachings and the broader spiritual journey it promotes. Overall, this slide helps us see Masonry not just as a set of rituals or dogma, but as a philosophical and moral path aimed at personal growth and universal brotherhood. Let's delve into the introduction to Masonry. Masonry, as many of you know, is a centuries-old tradition rooted in craftsmanship, ethics, and personal development. It's important to understand that Masonry is not a religion, but rather a philosophy that emphasizes moral uprightness and brotherhood. When we compare Masonry to religion, the key difference is that Masonry welcomes individuals from all faith backgrounds and focuses on universal values rather than specific doctrines. Moving on, we'll explore the philosophical foundations of Masonry, which are built on principles like truth, charity, and justice. These core ideas serve as the guiding lights for members as they seek personal growth and a better understanding of the world around them. Next, we'll discuss the role of mysticism in Masonry. Mysticism adds a layer of spiritual exploration, encouraging members to seek deeper truths beyond the material realm. It's about inner reflection and symbolic understanding, which enriches the Masonic journey. Masonry is also notably inclusive. It strives to bring people together regardless of background, race, or social status, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. Of course, there are many misconceptions about Masonry. Some think it's secret or political, but nothing could be further from the truth. Masonry prioritizes education and outreach, aiming to enlighten individuals and communities through charitable work and moral teachings. Personal experiences and testimonials from members highlight how Masonry has positively impacted their lives, offering guidance, friendship, and purpose. Finally, as we approach the conclusion, I encourage everyone to reflect on what we've discussed and consider any questions you might have. This wraps up our overview of Masonry's core principles and its role in personal and societal development. Let's take a moment to clarify some common misconceptions about Freemasonry. First, many people think that Masonic rituals and ceremonies are just religious practices, but that's not quite accurate. In reality, they are philosophical in nature, designed to promote moral development and personal enlightenment rather than to promote any specific religious doctrine. Next, there's the idea that Freemasonry is a religion. While it does encourage belief in a higher power, it doesn't prescribe a particular religious view. Instead, it emphasizes spiritual understanding and moral values, setting itself apart from organized religion by promoting a more personal and inclusive approach to spirituality. Finally, some misunderstand the vows and oaths taken in Masonry. They are often seen as religious commitments, but that's not the case. These vows focus on moral integrity, personal growth, and brotherhood, values that help us become better individuals and support a strong, supportive community. Overall, understanding these distinctions helps us see Freemasonry as a path for moral and spiritual development, rather than something to be confused with religion or superstition. Now, let's take a closer look at some key differences between Masonry and traditional religion, starting with their core philosophies. Masonry focuses heavily on philosophical inquiry and self-improvement. It encourages members to explore ideas and grow personally through reflection and discussion. In contrast, religion tends to center more on faith, doctrine, and divine authority, offering a different path to understanding existence. Moving on to beliefs, Masonry is quite inclusive. It allows members to hold a variety of beliefs and backgrounds, fostering an environment of acceptance. Religions, on the other hand, often adhere to specific doctrines that can sometimes limit the acceptance of differing viewpoints. Finally, Masonry adopts a non-dogmatic approach. It encourages personal interpretation of spiritual concepts, which means members can explore their beliefs in their own way. Organized religions typically follow established doctrines and collective practices, which can be more rigid. All these differences highlight how Masonry offers a unique path, more exploratory and inclusive, compared to the more defined structure of many religious traditions. This understanding helps us see how Masonry fits into the broader landscape of spiritual and philosophical pursuits. Let's now turn our attention to the introduction to Masonry. Here, we explore what Masonry truly is and its place within broader spiritual and philosophical traditions. Moving forward, we'll compare Masonry with religion, highlighting both similarities and differences to clarify misconceptions. Next, we delve into the philosophical foundations of Masonry, focusing on the core ideas that have guided its development over centuries. We also examine the role of mysticism within Masonry, which often sparks curiosity about its secretive aspects and spiritual pursuits. It's important to recognize that Masonry is inclusive, welcoming individuals from diverse backgrounds and beliefs, emphasizing universal values like brotherhood and moral development. However, there are common misinterpretations. Many people misunderstand Masonry's purpose or see it through a biased lens, so addressing these misconceptions is crucial. We also highlight efforts in education and outreach, aimed at sharing accurate information and fostering transparency. Personal experiences and testimonials help bring this all to life, showing how Masonry impacts individuals on a personal level. Finally, we'll conclude with a summary of key points and open the floor for your questions, encouraging an engaging and informative discussion. Now, let's explore the core philosophical teachings that underpin Freemasonry. First, we have enlightenment and knowledge. Masonry emphasizes the importance of enlightenment through knowledge, encouraging us to seek self-discovery and personal growth. It promotes critical thinking and moral integrity, helping us to better understand not only ourselves, but also the interconnectedness of humanity. This pursuit of knowledge guides us toward becoming more aware and responsible individuals. Next, we have morality and ethics. Masonry places a strong focus on personal moral development and ethical conduct. Virtues like honesty, integrity, and compassion aren't just ideals, they're essential for both individual and communal growth. By cultivating these qualities, we contribute positively to our communities and foster a more harmonious society. Finally, there's charity and service. At the heart of Freemasonry is the principle of charity, which emphasizes selfless service to others. This teaching encourages us to look beyond ourselves, to support and uplift our communities, and to see moral development as intertwined with acts of kindness and generosity. All these teachings, enlightenment, morality, charity, are interconnected and form the philosophical foundation that guides us in our journey as Freemasons, fitting into the larger theme of personal growth and universal brotherhood. When we look at the philosophers who have influenced Masonry, we see a clear emphasis on key Enlightenment ideas like reason, individualism, and empirical evidence. These thinkers helped shape Masonic philosophy by promoting values such as freedom, equality, and fraternity. You can think of it as laying the ethical groundwork for the organization, encouraging members to seek truth and moral integrity through rational thought. Historical figures like Plato, Rousseau, and Kant played a significant role in this development. They merged ethics, reason, and Enlightenment ideals, which in turn deeply influenced the philosophical foundations of Masonry. Their ideas emphasized moral integrity and the importance of moral development, which remains central to Masonic teachings today. Moving into modern times, Masonic philosophy has adapted to contemporary values. Today, there's a strong focus on ethics, personal growth, and community service. These adaptations foster inclusivity and reflect the evolving social landscape, but at the same time, they retain the core symbolic teachings that have been at the heart of Masonry for centuries. Overall, these influences, from Enlightenment thinkers through historical contributors to modern adaptations. Highlight how Masonry continues to evolve while staying true to its foundational principles of moral and philosophical development. Vamos a hablar ahora de la introducción a la masonería y cómo se relaciona con otros aspectos importantes. La masonería, a diferencia de muchas religions, no es una fe en sí misma, sino más bien un camino de desarrollo personal y búsqueda de la verdad. Es importante entender que, aunque a veces se la asocia con temas religiosos, la masonería en realidad fomenta la tolerancia y la libertad de pensamiento. Hablando de eso, en la siguiente sección compararemos la masonería con la religión, para entender mejor sus diferencias y similitudes. Luego, exploraremos los fundamentos filosóficos que sustentan la masonería, que se basan en valores como la ética, la búsqueda del conocimiento y la mejora continua. También abordaremos el papel del misticismo en la masonería, que ha sido objeto de muchas interpretaciones, pero que en realidad busca transmitir enseñanzas a través de simbolismos y rituals que inspiran reflexión. Un punto clave que quiero destacar es la inclusividad de la masonería. A lo largo de la historia, ha abierto sus puertas a personas de diferentes orígenes, razas y creencias, promoviendo la igualdad y el respeto mutuo. Por supuesto, también es importante aclarar algunos malentendidos comunes que existen respecto a la masonería, para que podamos entenderla con mayor claridad y sin prejuicios. Además, la masonería realiza esfuerzos constantes en educación y divulgación, para que más personas conozcan sus principios y propósitos. Y no podemos olvidar las experiencias personales y testimonios de quienes han sido parte de ella, que enriquecen mucho esta visión. Finalmente, en la conclusión, resumiremos los puntos clave y reflexionaremos sobre la importancia de entender la masonería en su verdadera esencia, y después abriremos un espacio para preguntas y respuestas. Let's delve into the concept of mysticism and why it holds such importance. Understanding mysticism involves exploring its core definition, which centers around seeking a deeper, often personal, spiritual connection beyond the surface. It's about experiencing the divine or the sacred in a way that transforms us internally. This connection is vital because it fosters a profound sense of personal growth, encouraging us to look inward and reflect on our spiritual journey. In Masonry, mysticism plays a crucial role. It helps members attain a deeper spiritual understanding by promoting personal transformation and enlightenment. Think of it as a philosophical path that's intertwined with religious symbolism and meaningful experiences. It's not just about rituals, it's about the inner journey that these symbols inspire. Furthermore, mysticism in Masonry encourages us to engage in introspection. By doing so, we deepen our self-awareness, which is essential for growth. It guides us through a transformative process, moving from mere knowledge to genuine understanding, ultimately leading us toward enlightenment and a more profound spiritual comprehension. So, in summary, mysticism in Masonry isn't just an abstract idea. It's a practical, transformative force that helps us evolve spiritually and personally. It's about connecting with something greater, understanding ourselves better, and embracing a path of continual growth and enlightenment. Let's explore some of the mystical practices that are central to Masonry. One of these is symbolism and allegory. These are powerful tools that convey profound truths, helping us foster personal enlightenment. Through layered meanings and intricate metaphors, we gain a deeper understanding of the universe and our place within it. It's like peeling back the layers of a complex story that reveals more with each level of reflection. Another key practice is meditation and reflection. These techniques are essential for personal introspection. They allow us to connect with deeper truths within ourselves, encouraging spiritual growth. By regularly taking time to reflect, we enhance our understanding of universal principles that guide us. When we combine symbolism, allegory, meditation, and reflection, we're engaging in a journey of inner discovery. These practices are not just about learning new ideas, They're about experiencing and understanding the deeper meanings of our spiritual path. Together, they help us grow personally and spiritually, aligning with the broader theme of seeking truth and enlightenment in Masonry. Now, let's move on to the introduction to Masonry. Here, I want to emphasize that Masonry is a long-standing tradition rooted in symbolism, moral development, and brotherhood. It's a system that encourages personal growth and community service. Next, we'll compare Masonry with religion. While some see overlaps, it's important to understand that Masonry is not a religion. It's a philosophy that promotes moral values and spiritual development without dogma or specific theological beliefs. Moving on, we'll explore the philosophical foundations of Masonry. Masonry is built on principles like truth, justice, and charity. These ideas serve as guiding lights for members, fostering a sense of purpose and ethical conduct. Then, we come to the role of mysticism in Masonry. Mysticism adds a layer of depth, encouraging members to seek personal enlightenment and understanding beyond the material world. It's about inner reflection and spiritual discovery. We'll also discuss Masonry's inclusivity. Unlike many other traditions, Masonry welcomes men from all backgrounds, promoting unity and brotherhood regardless of race, religion, or social status. However, it's important to address common misinterpretations. Some people wrongly associate Masonry with secret societies or conspiracy theories. Clarifying these misconceptions helps promote a more accurate understanding of what Masonry truly is. Next, we'll look at education and outreach efforts. Masonry actively works to inform the public about its true purpose and values, fostering transparency and trust within communities. We'll hear some personal experiences and testimonials from members who share how Masonry has positively impacted their lives, highlighting its role in personal development and community service. Finally, I'll wrap up with a brief conclusion, summarizing the key points, and then invite questions during the Q&A session. This is your chance to clarify any doubts or explore topics in more detail. Diversity of beliefs is a fundamental aspect of what makes Masonry unique. It's about recognizing and accepting that people come from different faiths and spiritual backgrounds. This acceptance helps us build a community that goes beyond just religious boundaries. Instead of focusing on differences, Masonry encourages mutual respect and open dialogue among members. This approach fosters a sense of unity, showing that shared values and principles can unite us regardless of our individual beliefs. Ultimately, Masonry promotes inclusivity by embracing diversity, creating a space where everyone feels valued and understood. This aligns perfectly with our overall goal of building a brotherhood rooted in respect, understanding, and shared purpose. Now, let's talk about how Masonry engages with society. One of its core principles is promoting interfaith dialogue. This means fostering mutual respect and understanding among people of different beliefs. It encourages members to appreciate shared values, which helps cultivate harmony within the broader community. By doing so, Masonry plays a role in bridging divides and promoting unity. Additionally, Masonry promotes inclusivity through community engagement, charity, and personal development. These efforts have a positive impact on society by encouraging collaboration and support for various social causes. When members come together to serve their communities, they not only strengthen those communities, but also exemplify the values of brotherhood and service that are central to our principles. Overall, these initiatives highlight how Masonry isn't just about individual growth, but also about making meaningful contributions to society, fostering understanding, and building a more harmonious and inclusive world. Now, let's delve into the introduction to Masonry. Masonry is often misunderstood, so it's important to clarify what it truly represents. Moving on, we'll compare Masonry with religion. While they share some spiritual aspects, Masonry is distinct in its approach and philosophy. Next, we'll explore the philosophical foundations of Masonry, which are rooted in moral and ethical principles aimed at personal growth. The role of mysticism in Masonry is also significant. It adds a layer of spiritual symbolism that encourages inner reflection. Masonry's inclusivity is another key point. It's open to individuals from diverse backgrounds, emphasizing brotherhood and shared values. However, there are common misinterpretations that we need to address, as many misconceptions can cloud understanding. Education and outreach efforts are vital in spreading accurate knowledge about Masonry. Personal experiences and testimonials help humanize this tradition and show its impact on individuals' lives. To conclude, we'll summarize the core ideas we've discussed today. Finally, we'll open the floor for questions and answers, so please feel free to share your thoughts or ask anything you'd like to know more about. When we talk about fear and myths surrounding Masonry, one common theme is conspiracy theories. These theories often arise from misunderstandings of the rituals and symbols we use. People tend to jump to unfounded claims about secret agendas, but what's really important is to focus on our philosophical and ethical teachings. Many see Masonry as a secret society, which fuels fears of elitism and hidden plots. But in reality, Masonry is about personal growth, community service, and exploring ideas that can make us better individuals. It's not about secret schemes or hidden power plays. So, understanding these misconceptions helps us see the true purpose of Masonry, promoting transparency, moral development, and community. It's essential to separate myth from reality and appreciate the genuine values that drive our fraternity. Let's talk about addressing some common myths. One of the most important aspects is transparency in practices. Masonry is often misunderstood as a secretive organization, but in reality, it promotes openness. Members share their knowledge and values freely, which helps build a sense of community and encourages personal growth. It's not about hiding things, it's about fostering trust and understanding. Another key point is the difference between open and closed membership. Some lodges are very welcoming and open to all seekers, emphasizing inclusivity. Others are more selective, maintaining specific criteria for membership. This variation can sometimes lead to misconceptions, with some people thinking Masonry is exclusive or inaccessible. Understanding these nuances helps us see that Masonry values transparency and varies in its approach to membership, all while aiming to promote integrity and community. So, breaking down these myths allows us to appreciate the true spirit of what Masonry stands for. Now, let's explore the introduction to Masonry. Masonry is often misunderstood, but at its core, it's a tradition built on moral and philosophical principles. Moving on, we see that Masonry differs from religion in many ways. While religion is faith-based and doctrinal, Masonry emphasizes personal growth, moral development, and brotherhood without prescribing specific beliefs. Next, we'll look at the philosophical foundations of Masonry. It draws upon ancient traditions, symbolism, and allegory to promote wisdom, truth, and virtue. The role of mysticism in Masonry is also significant. It adds a layer of spiritual exploration, encouraging members to seek deeper understanding beyond the literal. Masonry is notably inclusive. It welcomes men of different backgrounds, beliefs, and walks of life, uniting them through shared values and mutual respect. However, there are some common misinterpretations, such as misconceptions about secret rituals or political agendas. It's important to clarify these and highlight the true purpose of Masonry. Education and outreach are vital components, helping us share our principles openly and foster greater understanding with the wider community. Personal experiences and testimonials also play a powerful role. They illustrate how Masonry impacts lives and promotes personal growth. To conclude, Masonry is a rich tradition rooted in moral and philosophical ideals, emphasizing inclusivity, education, and spiritual exploration. Now, I'll open the floor for questions. Please feel free to ask anything you'd like to know more about. Let's talk about some of the key initiatives we're using to shape public perception. First, we have workshops and seminars. These are designed to demystify Masonry by creating open spaces for dialogue. The goal is to promote understanding and clear up any misconceptions people might have. When we do this, it really helps to build a more positive perception and encourages greater community engagement. Next, community engagement itself is absolutely vital. It's about more than just sharing information. It's about fostering genuine dialogue and building trust. Initiatives like open houses and educational workshops give people a chance to see what Masonry is really about, ask questions, and dispel any false notions they might hold. By combining these efforts, we're working toward a broader goal, making sure the community understands and appreciates Masonry for what it truly is. This approach aligns perfectly with our overall mission to promote transparency, understanding, and trust within the community. When it comes to educational resources, Masonry offers a rich variety of materials to deepen our understanding. This includes books, articles, podcasts, and documentaries that explore its principles in detail. These resources are really valuable because they help clarify misconceptions and debunk common myths about Masonry's practices. Additionally, online platforms play a crucial role. They provide easy access to a wide range of resources, from forums to courses, making it easier for anyone interested to learn more about Masonry's philosophies. These platforms also foster community engagement, encouraging dialogue and discussions that can enhance our understanding. Overall, these educational tools, both traditional and digital, are essential in spreading knowledge, dispelling misunderstandings, and connecting members and enthusiasts around shared ideas. They support the broader theme of transparency and education that's central to our presentation today. Let's now turn our attention to the introduction to Masonry. Here, we'll explore what Masonry truly is beyond the surface. It's a complex and rich tradition with deep philosophical roots. Moving on, we'll compare Masonry with religion. While both deal with moral and ethical questions, Masonry is not a religion itself. Instead, it promotes personal growth and moral development without dogma. Next, we'll delve into the philosophical foundations of Masonry, which are based on principles like truth, justice, and brotherhood, aiming to elevate human character. Then, we'll examine the role of mysticism in Masonry. Mysticism adds an element of spiritual exploration and inner discovery, encouraging members to seek deeper understanding beyond the material world. We'll also highlight Masonry's inclusivity. Despite historical misconceptions, it welcomes individuals from diverse backgrounds, emphasizing unity and brotherhood. It's important to address common misinterpretations about Masonry. Many misunderstandings stem from secrecy or conspiracy theories, but in reality, transparency and education are core values. Speaking of which, education and outreach are vital parts of Masonry's mission, sharing knowledge, fostering community, and promoting moral development. We'll hear some personal experiences and testimonials that illustrate how Masonry impacts individuals' lives on a meaningful level. As we conclude, I'll summarize the key points, reinforcing Masonry's true purpose and values. Finally, we'll open the floor for questions and discussions. Let's take a moment to explore some personal growth stories from our community. These stories highlight how our members experience transformation through the core values of brotherhood, ethics, and service. These aren't just words. They are guiding principles that shape their lives and reinforce the philosophy of Masonry. When members share their journeys, it reminds us all of the profound impact that a supportive community can have. Membership in Masonry fosters a strong sense of support, connections that last, mentorship that guides, and shared values that uplift us all. This sense of community isn't just about friendship, it's about collective growth and well-being. And ultimately, what makes membership so valuable is this very support system. It helps us become better individuals, enriches our lives, and strengthens the bonds that tie us together as a community. It's a continuous journey of personal and collective development, rooted in the principles we hold dear. When we reflect on misconceptions about Masonry, it's important to recognize that overcoming stigmas isn't just about correcting false information. It's about personal growth, engaging with our communities, and truly understanding the philosophical values that underpin our craft. These elements help foster a more inclusive perspective, allowing us to see Masonry not as something distant or mysterious, but as a path of self-improvement and shared purpose. Many members describe Masonry as a journey, one of personal discovery and growth. It's not merely about religious affiliation. Rather, it's about shared values like integrity, charity, and brotherhood. This unifying narrative reinforces that Masonry transcends individual backgrounds and focuses on common ideals that elevate us all. Connecting these ideas to our overall theme, it's clear that Masonry is about more than rituals or symbols. It's about evolving as individuals and building a supportive community that champions enlightenment and understanding. By doing so, we help break down misconceptions and invite more people to see the true essence of the craft. Now, let's delve into the introduction to Masonry. Masonry is a centuries-old tradition that emphasizes moral development, brotherhood, and the pursuit of knowledge. It's often misunderstood, but at its core, it's about building character and community. Moving on, let's compare Masonry to religion. While both can involve spiritual elements, Masonry is not a religion. Instead, it encourages personal growth and moral integrity without prescribing specific beliefs. The philosophical foundations of Masonry are rooted in Enlightenment principles, values like reason, tolerance, and the search for truth. These ideals guide our practices and teachings. The role of mysticism in Masonry is also significant. It adds a layer of symbolism and allegory that helps members explore deeper spiritual truths. Masonry prides itself on being inclusive, welcoming men of all backgrounds and faiths, united by shared values rather than particular doctrines. However, there are common misinterpretations. Some see Masonry as secretive or conspiratorial, but that's a misconception. It's about confidentiality, not secrecy in a negative sense. Education and outreach are vital parts of our mission, aiming to inform the public and dispel myths about our fraternity. Personal experiences and testimonials often highlight how Masonry fosters lifelong friendships, personal growth, and a sense of purpose. To conclude, Masonry is a complex but enriching tradition that combines philosophy, symbolism, and community. I encourage everyone to explore further and understand its true essence. Now, I'd be happy to take any questions you might have. Let's take a moment to recap some of the key points we've explored. First, understanding Masonry's true nature is essential. Masonry goes beyond any specific religion or philosophy. Instead, it emphasizes moral ethics, personal growth, and the pursuit of universal truths. This is what fosters brotherhood and enlightenment, connections that transcend creedal boundaries and focus on shared human values. Next, I want to highlight the importance of dialogue. Engaging in open and honest conversation helps us better understand each other and dispels common misconceptions about Masonry. Through dialogue, we can appreciate more deeply that Masonry is both a philosophy and a spiritual journey, something that invites exploration and personal development. Together, these points remind us that Masonry is about seeking truth, fostering brotherhood, and encouraging ongoing understanding. Principles that align closely with the overall theme of growth and enlightenment we've been discussing throughout this presentation. Now, let's focus on the call to action. I want to emphasize the importance of encouraging open conversations about Masonry's true nature. It's essential that we foster awareness and understanding, helping to dispel common myths that often surround the fraternity. By promoting respectful dialogue, we can bridge the gaps that exist between differing perspectives. Remember, encouraging open dialogue about Masonry means highlighting its philosophical aspects, which are often misunderstood or overlooked. This approach promotes inclusivity and helps build a more understanding community. Challenging misconceptions is a key part of this process. We want to create a space where respectful discussions can flourish, allowing us to connect across different beliefs and backgrounds. Ultimately, the goal is to foster an environment where honest conversations can lead to greater awareness, acceptance, and unity within and outside the fraternity. Now, moving on to slide 30, let's explore some common misinterpretations about Masonry. Many people often hear misconceptions or rumors, and it's important to address these directly. For example, some believe Masonry is a secret society with hidden agendas, but in reality, it's an organization that values transparency and moral development. Others think it's linked to conspiracy theories, which are unfounded and distract from our true purpose. Recognizing these misunderstandings helps us foster clearer communication and promote a more accurate understanding of what Masonry truly stands for. By clarifying these points, we can counteract misinformation and continue to build trust within and outside our community. Now, let's move on to addressing audience questions. Taking the time to answer inquiries helps clarify any misconceptions about Masonry. It also reinforces its philosophical roots and clearly separates it from religious affiliations. This process ultimately enhances your understanding of its more mystical elements. When a question arises, I encourage everyone to share personal insights or experiences related to Masonry. This kind of dialogue promotes a deeper understanding for all of us, and it provides an opportunity to dispel common misunderstandings, especially those that mistake Masonry for a religion or a philosophy. So I invite you to participate openly, ask questions, and share your thoughts. It's all part of the learning journey. Remember, our goal is to foster clarity and a richer appreciation of Masonry's true nature. Thank you all for your participation today and for your insightful questions. Your engagement has truly been invaluable in helping us unravel the complexities of Masonry and its various interpretations. I encourage everyone to continue exploring Masonry's core principles, delving into books, attending lectures, and engaging in community discussions. This kind of active exploration can really broaden our understanding and help clarify any misconceptions. Remember, the journey into understanding Masonry is ongoing, and staying curious is key. Thank you once again for being part of this conversation. Thank you all for your attention and engagement throughout this presentation. I hope you found the insights into the Masonic audiobook library valuable and inspiring. Remember, this resource is here to support your ongoing learning and growth within the Masonic community. Feel free to explore the library further and share it with others who might benefit. Thanks again for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you all soon.